Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for The Swiss Family Robinson, 1960s edition. So, as always, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off the furry, there's a couple of Marmaduke-style dogs, as well as a tiger that make a pretty significant appearance, as well as a few other animals, because they're on an island, basically, but a few other animals make appearances, but they aren't as important to the plot as those other animals that I just talked about. But they do make appearances. Some of them are more fun than others. So, moving on. This movie stars a whole bunch of people that are all dead. This movie came out in 1960, and I looked it up, and all of the main cast, they all dead. So, not going to come out with any more movies of these people. What I will say is that this movie, like I said, came out in 1960. Some other movies that came out during this time frame that I can remember seeing, not in theaters, mind you, but was Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, Sound of Music, Singing in the Rain, that decade or early time period of movies, that is when this came out. And so if you liked any of those movies that I just listed, I think you will like this one, especially if you liked them well enough, but you're like, man, I don't want a musical, and them all musicals. So this is not a musical. It is a adventure defense movie thing. It's called The Swiss Family Robinson, and basically the general storyline is that they are going to the New World, so the New Guinea colonies, and they're gonna be part of that colonization going on, and then they get shipwrecked because they're retreating from pirates in a storm, and then they get shipwrecked on this island, and so they try and make a life on this island, and then other things start to happen that force them to, fight. And what I will say is that in The Sound of Music, it's a really long movie, and the first half of it is a lot of fun. You get to have the singing and the Von Trapp family, and they're just, they're exploring each other and getting to know each other and establishing the relationships and whatnot. And then the second half of the movie is just like, and Nazis are bad, run away from the Nazis, they're ruining everything, and how do we persevere? In this movie, I wouldn't say it's not anywhere near the halfway point, but the first half of this movie is like, hey, there's a shipwreck, how do we survive, how do we make things better, how do we go about our lives, because we were intending to go to a new world, and now we're on this deserted island. And then the second half of the movie is like, hey, pirates show up, now we got to defend our new home. So that's how this movie goes. So a bit of a tone change, I think, and it was fun. And I gotta say that I was impressed with what they were able to accomplish with the time period. I do think that a couple of the fight sequences, especially the first one between the boy and the Swiss Family Robinson's kids, that first fight scene, I really feel like they could have done another couple takes with that. And yeah, there's, I think, a couple things where they could have just used a little bit more polish, but overall, the scale of this movie, especially for 1960, the scale that they were able to achieve, and the effects and the action, if you will, like the people being, grenade type things going off, from gunpowder things, or people, and traps, and the animal play and whatnot, all of that, pretty much it impressed me given what they were able to do for this level of technology that they had for filmmaking at the time. And yeah, what I will say is that it was, I don't want to say annoying, but I guess it bugged me more than it should have. The level of Clark Kent glasses to no glasses, when he has the glasses on, he's Clark Kent, you take him off and he's suddenly Superman, and nobody can tell the difference. They had a little bit of that going on when the pirates first landed. I'm not going to go into that a little bit more, but it was just kind of really? That, we're just supposed, that, the glasses, except it's not glasses, it was another thing in this case, but, you can't tell me that none of you noticed that. So, like I said, but it was one of those things where I don't think it was the audience was supposed to be fooled, so, like I said, I think it bugged me more than it should have. But I think that they got to the level that they wanted with that. And I thought it was a fun time. Like I said, if you like the 1960s movies, but you didn't want singing in it. I think that this accomplishes that. It has a bit more, hand-to-hand fighting, which could have used a couple more takes, and a bit more of just action, adventure, islands and seafaring and that sort of thing. I think that they did a good job with it. What I don't appreciate is Disney putting a warning at the beginning of it on Disney Plus, being like, "Oh, this is a product of its time period, and it's offensive then, it's offensive now, blah blah blah." Like, fuck you, Disney. We know this movie came out in 1960. You don't need to put a little extra fucking like, "Oh, context," but there doesn't matter context. It's still bad. Like, if you just shut up and let me watch my movie, okay? Like, shut up. It's fine. Like, do you put a warning label on 12 Years a Slave that slavery was bad? No, because we all fucking know slavery is bad. You just fuck off with your warnings, Disney. So, anywho, this movie, I would say overall, give it a thumbs up if you like the 1960s movies without singing in it. It was all color, and I liked the settings that they used. It seemed like it was all pretty much shot on, I don't know, I'm guessing Hawaii or something. Like, it was very lush there, and I thought they did a good job with that. So, the actors were all fine. It was fun to see their interplay with them, and the dad was great, and the mom was great, and the boys, like, they all did well with their parts, and they all were pretty funny, and I thought that, especially for the time period, the acting was really good, and fun. So, yeah, for the time period. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye!